Hey, and welcome to Circle of Destruction, or O of Destruction if that's what you want to call it. So, first thing I'm going to do here is go around and shoot all the enemies around the O. The reason for that is very simple. These enemies will chase around, they will follow me, and they will shoot me from across the way if they get the chance. This is one of John Romero's contributions to Doom 2, and in my opinion it's one of the better contributions. In fact, I go as far as to say this is easily one of the better levels in Doom 2. I think that it's very well designed. I think that there's a lot of openness to it, so you can jump down into the toxic and fight the enemies from there. You can stay up here, you can go and find the secrets to get all the ammo. There's a lot to say about this level, but we're actually looking at the beta version of this level. Yeah, so as you can see, this level was pretty much done and dusted early in development. There's really not that much that's changed. The only things that are changed I'll point out as we kind of make our way around, but even the texture work isn't that different from what you'd see in the final level here. So I'm going to come up here and take down these guys. I always found this courtyard bit with the arachnotrons to be quite difficult, because if you're pistol starting this level, it's very likely that you're going to be relying on the chain gun or shotgun, see, to take down these arachnotrons, which is not the ideal way to do it. Plus, a lot of the enemies in this level will chase you through the level like this, so they'll follow you, they'll clump up behind you, and you've got to deal with them. There's no real point in trying to not deal with them. So we're going to head up here and grab the blue key. Now, this level is famous for being the introduction of the Archvile. The Archvile is an enemy that you'll love or you'll hate, depending on your experiences with it. The best way I find to kind of avoid being hit by its flame is to just stand behind a wall, like this. But the Archvile can obviously resurrect enemies, it can shoot you with its flames. It's a very nasty enemy, and especially with like some of the lower tier weapons like the shotgun and the chain gun, it actually takes a bit of time to get rid of them. So my recommendation is just use the super shotgun, rocket launcher or plasma rifle to get rid of it. So we'll drop down here and we'll grab the invisibility here. What I like about this level is that, as you can see here, enemies can shoot you from across the way. There's no reason why you can't just take out enemies like this as soon as you have the chance to. So we don't even have to go into this room to fight these enemies. We can just shoot them through the fence here, which in my opinion is probably the best way of dealing with the enemies in this room. So we'll head inside the blue door here. Going to pick up the cell ammo there, and then we're going to hit this switch to raise up the platform here. So this allows us to go over here where all these spectres are hidden. Again, this is very familiar to what you'll see in the retail version of this game. So there's, up to now, there's been not that many differences, but there is a big one coming up here, and it's interesting because this actually made it into the final release. So if you bought this back in the day, that there, you see that there, you can actually see there, there's a little gap there where you can walk around. You can actually run onto that and skip most of this level if you choose to do so. So you can see here, we can actually walk around, and if you just tiptoe around very carefully, you can actually leave the basically finish this level super quickly. Now, they actually changed that after the initial release of Doom 2 to a more fat design. So what it does, it actually stops you from doing that. So that was actually an exploit that people made good use of back in the day, but it isn't actually in the modern versions if you go looking for it. A bunch of lost souls here. I don't like this. There's a lot of lost souls means a lot of trouble, so it's worth just kind of getting rid of these guys as quickly as we can. We could go and get the invulnerability, but I'm not going to bother with that right now. We'll take down the bony boy up the top here, as he's kind of shooting us here. Oh wow, Okay, so as I mentioned earlier on, a lot of the enemies in this level will backtrack and follow you through the level, and because of the open nature of this level, like, it's very possible for them to do this kind of thing. So this is happening because I went into the final part where they all walk up, so I'm actually fighting enemies from the end of the level here, which is pretty funny. Right, this is a bit dangerous, I'm not gonna lie. I just kind of want to get through here. If I can, I'll get the rocket launch here, but if I can't, then we're just gonna have to leave it. Oh, ow, okay, okay. So I almost failed there, that was not good. So this isn't, yeah, this is exactly the same as well. So I just need some ammo for my plasma rifle. Shoot you in the face, shoot you in the face, shoot you in the face. Cool. As mentioned, if you bought this at back when Doom 2 came out, you could easily just run through that part there and you can skip most of the level. You don't even have to deal with the red door. We'll get rid of you. There is an invulnerability out there, but I don't really see the point in using it here. Another change here is when you hit this switch in the modern Doom 2 WOD, there's actually a little bridge here that takes you across there. But in this version, there is not. Now I assume they put that in there so that people couldn't miss like where they're meant to go next. But again, if you bought this at launch, that bridge isn't there, much like it isn't here. It's interesting that like they actually made those changes once the game was into the wild. So there are effectively two versions of this level in the wild at retail. Of course, now we can head over here and make our way towards the level exit. And of course we have ammo on the rocket launcher, which I don't really want to use, to be honest. But yeah, by and large, this level is pretty much complete here, and it's interesting that these levels were done so early. You can see there that the ending is actually a bit different. In the retail version, there's a big skull switch which you press, and that I assume that was put in to make it more fancy than what we see there, because basically it's just a normal switch in there at the minute, and you'll see that in a second. But in my opinion, this is definitely one of the stronger Doom 2 levels. It's a level that it's challenging, it's fun, and I think in multiplayer it just lends itself to some great combat situations. But yeah, this has changed. So this is different. If you play this now on like any of the current versions of this game, like I said, there's a big skull here that makes it more fancy. But ultimately, Circle of Death is very much the same level. It didn't really change throughout the development of Doom 2, and I think that's a good thing, because the level we played here was really fun. And I can understand why they didn't want people using that level skip, because it kind of cuts out half the fun of the level. So let's dive into the PlayStation 1 version of this level. So you'll find with a lot of these PlayStation 1 levels that not much really changes, but the performance of the level can become a bit unstable. And I think this is one of those levels where we start to see that, as the performance of this level kind of isn't as smooth as what we've kind of seen in previous levels. And that's obviously because this level is quite large. It's a very big level, this, and it's very faithful to the PC version, albeit with some of the height reduced, but we've come to expect that. As you can see in here, they've put a chain gunner in there, and they've also replaced the Pain Elemental with the Caco Demon, which is quite common when we're looking at these PS1 levels. As said, I suspect that's down to the fact that they don't want Lost Souls being flooded into the level, because especially on these bigger levels that would tank performance, no doubt. But yeah, one of the big things with Doom 2 on the PlayStation 1 is that the Doom 1 levels were derived from the Jaguar port which basically became the basis for most of the console ports in the 90s. But with Doom 2, there really wasn't anything similar, so a lot of these levels are only modified in slight ways, which means that, as I said, the performance can dip, especially on some of the levels that we're going to be entering in the next part of this. But that doesn't mean that this is a bad level at all. In fact, it's still very fun. You've just got to kind of come into it knowing what to expect. I do like when they mix the colours of the candles with the lighting of the room, because it does kind of lend this like a bit more depth. Unfortunately, we also have to deal with a chain gunner there. Managed to get rid of him. But what you will have noticed is that this is very faithful. Like, the layout of this level, it matches, the enemy placements match. It's a good way to experience this level if you didn't have a PC back in the day, I think. I am going to grab this invisibility here just so that I can take on these arachnotrons a bit easier, just because I don't fancy kind of getting shot by the plasma bullets too much. So we'll tear down the arachnotrons here. We're also going to see in a second one of the big cuts from this game, and it's one that I understand, but having seen the Game Boy Advance version, I'm kind of sad that the enemy in question does not make an appearance here. So the PlayStation 1 version of Doom 2 does not have the Arch-Vile in it, and the thing is, I understand why, because he respawns enemies, he throws you across the rooms and all that. So there's a lot of reasons why, like, technically, it's not the easiest thing to put in these ports. But then you look at the Game Boy Advance version, and the Arch-Vile is very much in there, and it can still very much do all the things it wanted. So I'm a little sad that, like, it didn't make it into this version. I think that taking the Arch-Vile out kind of, it takes something from some of these levels, in particular there, where, like, you're seeing an arachnotron and you're like, well, I've seen so many of those already. It's just one of those little gripes I have with this version, that the Arch-Vile didn't make the jump. So I'm going to shoot this imp up here. I'm sure most people don't even care that the Arch-Vile didn't make it. You can also see here, this is what I was talking about earlier. So they've literally pushed it to the edge there, so you can't just run onto it anymore and kind of skip the level. I'm going to try it here just to show you, but you can't just run onto the edge anymore like that. You have to be incredibly specific. But you can see, no, it's not happening. And that's the same if you play Doom 2 on Steam now, or on the Unity port, or any of the console versions of the last, like, 15 years, you'll get the exact same situation. So there's two chain gunners out there rather than the Hell Knight. Did they put the bridge in here? No, they didn't. That's interesting. So you can hear that all the cacodemons have woken up because they can see us now. So we're just going to take this down here. I still stand by what I said. I think this is a really strong level, and the fact that, like, a version of this turns up in Plutonia as a homage should show you how influential this level was for Doom mappers. It is a very strong level in my opinion. Romero really kind of hit it hard here, and I think that the end result is a level that is definitely in the top 5 for me in Doom 2. So this room here is filled with cacodemons and the like. We just need to be careful because that arachnotron can hit me from the exit. I was trying to run over there, but that cacodemon I bounced off it, which was not appreciated. But there's no denying that this is a very faithful recreation of the PC level, even if it does have some choppy moments in terms of frame rate and playability. Take down these two here. I think the BFG is still on the other side here. Excuse me, getting stuck on the scenery there. I am just going to go and grab the BFG just because I don't like it. It's a good place to pick up the BFG if you've somehow missed all the previous ones. You can see here they've raised this all up, so this isn't lowered down anymore like it is in the PC version. Doesn't really change anything. Doesn't change anything about this area because you can't exactly go back anywhere. Shoot you in the face, and that's pretty much this level done. As I said, this is one of my favourite Doom 2 levels, and you can see there at the end the skull texture I was talking about. They made that ending room a bit bigger. I think it's because they wanted this to just feel a bit more grander than just walking up to a switch on the wall, which is kind of anticlimactic. But yeah, this is one of my favourite Doom 2 levels. I think it holds up really well, and definitely one of the better experiences you can have in this game. Let me know what you thought at this level. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's one of Romero's best in this game? And let me know which version of the game you found most impressive. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.